Nicodemus here. Today's episode, I wanted to touch on a subject that people are searching for. What do you do when you're searching for hope in a suffering society?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it makes sense that people are searching for that right now. You look at society as a whole, and it seems like there's a deep sickness, in society, in the world that we live in. There seems to be so much chaos and so much greed and deceit. So trying to find hope in that is going to be like a futile search. It's going to be something that's very, we can't find hope in the world. What he says in the course. I want to read one of my favorite lessons. I have a lot of them, and we'll go through some. We'll do some videos on specific lessons that really hit home for me. This is lesson 41, and I think this is the answer to that question of how do we find hope in the world that we see? And the answer lies in the way that we see the world, not in the world itself. So this lesson, it's about 4 paragraphs. I'm going to read it. It's lesson 41. So those that aren't familiar, there's a lesson every day for the whole year in A Course in Miracles. So this would be the 41st day of the year. And the lesson is God goes with me wherever I go. Today's idea, God goes with me wherever I go, will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment which all the separated ones experience. So let me read that again. It says, today's idea, God goes with me wherever I go, will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment which all the separated ones experience. That's us. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So we can't get away from depression and hopelessness when we believe it's separation, and ultimately it's separation from God. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. This is a great line, and this is really about the world. It says, the separated ones have invented many, quote, cures, and cures is in quote, for what they believe to be, quote, the ills of the world. So don't we have so many cures, in quotes, they don't really work, right? Seeking after power and fame and money, uh, you know, all the things, our addictions, our idols in the world. We try to make the world a certain way to actually fill up this perceived sense of loneliness, abandonment, the gap in us. So he goes on, he says, the separated ones have invented many, quote, cures for what they believe to be, quote, the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. So this idea, this problem of separation, I put it in quotes, it's not ultimately real, but it's where all of our suffering comes from. It's where all of our hopelessness comes from. And what we end up doing is trying to manipulate or change the world out there in the hopes that we're going to one day find the hope we're looking for, the peace we're looking for, and we never can in the world because the world itself is built on separation. It's built on chaos. Now, it doesn't mean we can't shift the way we see the world, which is possible. Once we shift it says the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem, yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. When we shift, we start to see that this problem of separation is an illusion. It goes on, it says, the idea for today, God goes with me wherever I go, has the power to end all this foolishness forever, and foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. Deep within you is everything that's perfect, ready to radiate through you out into the world. It will cure all sorrow. I love this line. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them, to these beliefs. So what Jesus is saying in the Course is that as we start to shift the way we see the world, we start to uncover that deep within us is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through us out into the world. And that radiance, that perfection, it will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and then suffered out of its allegiance to these belief systems. That's the answer. So the answer ultimately is in our mind. And you and I can never find what we're looking for in the world because the world is built on this insane belief in separation. He goes on, he says, you can never be deprived of your perfect holiness because its source goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone because the source of all life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can disturb your peace of mind because God goes with you wherever you go. He says, we understand that you do not believe all this. How could you when the truth is hidden deep within under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring yet representing all you see? Today we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and to go through it to the light beyond. God goes with me wherever I go. So for the invitation here is for all of us to stop looking and seeking in the world to find hope where none can be found. You know, the way the ego sees the world's a battleground. It's a chaos that it's constantly trying to rob our peace from us. And the thing is when we stop seeking for our salvation, our peace, and our wholeness in the world, a new vision comes. And a new vision comes, one that is filled with hope. And what the Course says is that that vision is the vision of what the real world. So the goal is for us to seek for the real world in our mind, to shift into wholeness and holiness and forgiveness and peace. And then the hope that we were looking for, we never find it in the world because it comes from us and we can now offer it to the world. And it radically alters our experience of life.